morning, people. Gav Mack, Devo here. Day 17 of the Euro show that we're doing every day. It's 17. So what happened yesterday?
Every day.
Yeah, no, we're counting. It's maths lessons with Mac and Devo. So what's happening? People are asking. Well, who didn't see the games yesterday? Where are we? We'll come a bit closer, eh? Who didn't see the games yesterday? Hazard, masterclass. Not that one either. And then Ligt with the red card.
Disaster class.
Makes the Dutch pay whilst the Czechs cash in. So where should we start, Devo? Who should we talk about first?
Start with the Dutch and the Czechs, I suppose.
We need to have a bit of an inquest here, do we not? Because the Dutch, they had arguably one of the most comfortable group stages ever, and we're thinking, hold on a minute, these are dark horses here, aren't they? But then they were quite toothless, weren't they?
They were, indeed they were. Yeah, and it's the same thing I've been saying all along. Usually, the teams that come flying out of the blocks in these tournaments don't last a distance. That's exactly what happened with the Dutch. They came up against Czech sides that aren't great, but they're solid. You know. Even against England, they might have lost that game, but they were still pretty solid. Just that one lapse of concentration and bit of brilliance from Grealish and Saka that opened them up. But they're a solid side. They're going to make themselves hard to beat. Dutch had that one chance to break them down, and Marlon fluffed it. Absolutely fluffed it. And that for me was a turning point. A lot of people are going to look at De Ligt and say, yeah, he shouldn't have done what he did, which he shouldn't have. But Marlon scores, De Ligt isn't in that situation.
Yeah.
It's 1-0 Holland, and they probably go on and win that game pretty comfortably. So if I was Dutch and I was in that dressing room, I'd give 2 slaps to Marlon. And like, mate, we're out because of you. Like he had so many different things he could have done in that situation, and he chose the one that resulted in him just running straight into the goalkeeper's hands. But yeah, don't want to discredit the Czechs as much as I might not like them. They did what they had to do to get through, scored the 2 goals. Patrick Schick's on fire.
Loves it.
And they're through to the next round.
Now, I want to talk about the first goal first, and then we'll talk about the red card in a moment, because I love training ground routines, and the free kick was so close to the corner flag, it might as well have been a corner. And I just love when they're planned out like that. He's whipped it into like the back stick, and it's been headed across goal. So everybody's looking for this ball thinking, oh, that's gone way too deep. And then it's been headed back across goal, and Hurlers is there at the back stick just to tap it home, like just to nod it home. Why didn't the Dutch react? They were so slow to move at that point. Is that De Ligt's fault because De Ligt weren't on the pitch anymore?
Maybe, because he is a bit of a leader in that defence, isn't he? So maybe he's the one who organises it. But I think also Stekelenburg was at fault for that. And I think he's come wandering out of his goal without actually catching the flight of the ball. Whereas that kind of unsettles your defence around you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, right, my keeper's not in position. Now I've got to get back on the line. And I think you saw Van Aanholt made 2 mistakes in that move. First one, put the ball out for throwing, reset. He tried to hold on to the ball, give away a free kick needlessly. Second one, he's come away from the post because his keeper's gone wandering. He's come away from the post. Stays on the post. That header just bounces off him, and you clear it. So it was a lot of mistakes from the Dutch yesterday. But again, good routine for the Czechs. They cashed in, as you said. So fair play.
This De Ligt red card. Now, when I first saw it, I was like, well, that's fair enough. It's a yellow card. That's a good decision. But then we see the replay, and there's 2 things. Which one's he actually got the red card for? Has he got the red card for the denial of the obvious goal scoring opportunity, like in the build up to it, or is it that actually the handball that does it? Because he's messed up twice here. And it tells me that he has no faith in Stekelenburg. He just mentioned about Stekelenburg coming out flapping, and only 10 minutes or so before that, he's going to be left one-on-one. Now, I would have sort of allowed it to happen. If you're try and make the effort to get the ball, but if you can't do it, Don't worry about it. I've got faith in my goalkeeper. You're an international goalkeeper, and you are playing for the Dutch, who are one of the, there might be dark horse, whatever, but they're up there amongst the favourites of winning this competition. If you do go 1-0 down at that stage, then 11v11, I still feel that they had the quality to come back and do something, even if it was just to draw after 90 minutes and then take him into extra time.
Yeah, it was poor from Ligt. It was poor decision making. I think he panicked when he lost his foot in. He slipped and he panicked and thought, "Oh, damn it!" I think the red card was a correct decision from the referee. Eventually, they got there and made the right decision. But yeah, Ligt. I mean, yeah, you'd say let the player go through, but I think it was just instinct. His instinct was just to slap that ball away because he's in danger. I've fallen over. Oh no, slap that. But yes, I don't understand why Stekelenburg was the number one keeper, to be honest. I mean, he didn't have the worst tournament, but Tim Krul's had a brilliant season in Norwich. Stekelenburg's played 15 games since 2016. I mean, come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Threaten the ball, you're under pressure as it is. He's a brave man.
He is. Right then, before we move on to the Belgium-Portugal game, just a couple chats here. Huey from our darts league, he's not actually playing this season. I'm a bit annoyed that he's not playing this season. He's a good player. Hopefully see you again soon. He says, good morning, Matt. Hello, what's good? And Latimer's Prime. Big up yourself, Latimer's Prime, by the way. Early stream. Let's go. Yes, mate. Every day of the Euros, we go like live at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's tough. It's hard work, but we do it. We put the graft in, you know what I mean? And Sideline Pod. Yeah, big up. Oh, got a competition running there as well. So make sure you go check out his page on Twitter. Make sure you go check out the competition. Go win yourself a football shirt. He said a mad 24 hours, guys. Netherlands and Wales out. No one expected that. Shout out to the lads. Have a great week. Tomorrow it's absolutely massive. Boy, I'm in annoy, I don't know what's going on tomorrow. But it is what it is that playing. Right then. Belgium, Portugal. The goal came from Hazard. What a strike. But not that one. It was Thorgan. And one of the goals of the tournament with his kick. How many times have we said this in this competition that it's like, oh my God, this is one of the goals of the tournament, man.
There's been so many great goals.
Golazzo!
Please, I reckon I'm a cat. Yeah, I think the Thorgan Hazard, it was a great strike. It was a great strike. Fair play, but I don't think anything's going to beat Patrick Schick, if we're being honest. Great strike, poor game.
Yes, it was. It was a bad game. I said this in the build-up that I wasn't going to. On paper, these two should produce the best game of the round, but I don't think they will. And as it stands so far, the Wales-Denmark has been the tie of this round so far,
and you called it.
But there are still 4 games to go. But let's talk about this game and where it all went wrong for Portugal, because they were, I think the only player that stood out or did anything special for Portugal for the 90 minutes, other players did have sections of the game, was Renato Sanchez. He worked his socks off. Why does he play so well for his country, but he's so dead for clubs predominantly?
Yeah. I mean, he's still young-ish. So I'm going to give him that. But I just think it's trying to fit him into a system where he can play consistently at that level. I think he struggled to work in a 2-man midfield, which is what Lille play predominantly. So I think he's only started like 14 games for them last season and stuff like that. So when people were jumping on saying, yeah, we should sign him, it's like, watch him a little bit more than just the 3 games you've seen in these tournaments. Because yes, as well as he is a good player and there's a lot of potential there, he's not a consistently good performer. No. Which is why he didn't make it at Bayern. I know he was very young when he went to Bayern. Didn't impress at Swansea. He's been at various different clubs, but he did play very well in this game. He did, and not many other players on either side of the ball had great games. And I feel like both the managers are to blame for what we saw. I think Portugal's manager is very negative We've seen that throughout this tournament. Very negative. And Roberto Martinez just isn't a good manager.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You're given that array of talent at Belgium, you're going to do a decent job. I think Belgium are good despite of their manager.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realise that Sean Maloney was like this, like part of the coaching team as well. It's like just like Wigan 2013.
Yeah.
Or it's going to get Paul Sharner next. It's going to do something else and whatever. Christ. Ben Watson.
Chimbonda will be there.
Chimbonda. Oh, I know Pascal Chimbonda. We did an interview with him last year. Yeah. Portugal didn't impress. Yeah, the Belgians didn't overly impress, but they were in control of the game. Now, when I was watching it, one of my friends came around to watch it. He's not the biggest football fan, but he understands it. And when I was trying to explain what was going on, he was like, "Oh yeah," because like, if I'm honest, I was waiting for an Axel Witsel yellow card. That's all I needed, and that would have like brought in a couple of quid. But I was looking at the way their midfield was structured, and when they were in possession and when they were out of possession. And when they were out of possession, Eden Hazard would come in, and Dries Mertens, when he came on, would come in as well, and almost like make it a compact, tight midfield four, and they couldn't find any space between there. But then when they're out of possession, those two ended up bombing out wide, and then they had like just an area of space to work with in the middle of the park, and I thought it was really impressive. So even though we have been cutting out Roberto Martinez, I do think the way he structured his midfield was a bit of genius, and it didn't allow the Portuguese to get involved and try and take control of the midfield at all. The goal was sublime, but Belgium are now going through to the next round, and they're going to be without Kevin De Bruyne by the looks of it, and also Eden Hazard.
Yeah, they're sweating on the fitness of both of those. And I think if you go against the Italians without those two, and what you're just saying about the Belgian midfield, and that won't work against the Italians.
No,
the Italians have far too much intensity. They'll run rings around Tielemans, and Witsel, I think, will be up for it. He's used to being in intense midfield battles. Tielemans, I think, will struggle with that kind of intensity. So I think I'd make Italians favourites for that game personally.
Yeah. So
if you mesh the two styles. Whereas I think the Belgians rely too much on individual brilliance and individual moments to win games. The Italians are a solid unit of just pure energy and intensity if Locatelli starts.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the roadmap then, eh? Hey, see, I've been typing it in. Italy, Belgium, that is on Friday. And then on that side of the draw. So later on tonight, we've got a couple of games as well, of course. And then Czech Republic, Denmark. I can't remember what day they're playing that. Is that Saturday? Yeah, that should be very, very good. Very good. And the fixtures that we've got left. We've got Croatia versus Spain, and then France versus Switzerland. Both games tonight. And then, of course, the big one between Angleterre and Deutschland, and then the battle of the yellow and blues between Sweden and Ukraine. We're going to do our previews and stuff for it later on Twitter, so make sure you check into that, and also our post-match reviews as well. But quick score predictions if we can, and then we'll break it down later on. So Czech Republic, Croatia versus Spain. Which way are you going with that?
2-0 Croatia.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0 Croatia as well. And then France versus Switzerland.
1-0 France.
Man, get out of my head. Get out my head. Honestly, I think exactly the same. Switzerland are going to frustrate. They're going to bore the hell out of France, and just not make it a very good spectacle for me. But socials are over there, and all our individual socials are down there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, and also please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It will mean a hell of a lot. But for myself, Devo Mack, and of course Devo over there. Catch you in a bit. Cheers.